So we are now page 4 of the tractate of Sotah, day number 3 in our study between Passover, Pesach, and Shavuos. And now that we have established that the idea of stira, that if a woman is caught after she was warned alone with a person in a room, we saw them going into a locked room alone. So then, if one witness had seen that, according to Rabbi Eliezer, according to Rabbi Shua, two witnesses had seen that, they can be forced to be brought to Jerusalem to drink the special waters, etc., 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 and all the laws that are connected to it. So the question is, how long are they supposed to be in that room for that to happen? What's the length of time? And here we have a fascinating discussion where we have several opinions. And the Rabbi Yishmael is of the opinion that the length of being in that room is enough time to go for a person to walk around a big date tree. We're talking about how long does it take for an event to possibly happen between the man and the woman that is forbidden according to the Torah, the physical relations. Rabbi Eliezer says it's to mix wine with water. Rabbi Yeshua says it's to drink a cup of wine. Renazai says it's to cook an egg. Rabbi Kiva says it's to eat the egg. Rabbi Yehud ben Seira says it's to eat 3 eggs. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yirmiyahu says it's to tie loose threads from a piece of clothing that you're making. Chanin says it's to take out something that's stuck in your teeth. Plimai says to take a bread from a basket. And then the Gemara brings another brisa where we have some of these rabbis who give different times, and we try to reconcile them both together. But the basic story is that there is a certain amount of time, a few minutes, where they have to be together. If it's just for a moment, less time, then it's not an issue. They have to have been there at least that minimum amount of time. So the Gemara tells us a statement, sort of, that how do these people come to their conclusions? So they talked about their personal experiences. So the Gemara asks Ben Azai, who is known as someone who dedicated his life to the study of Torah, and he never married. How did he have any experience to know? So according to one opinion, there are 3 answers. According to one answer is that he was married and he separated from his wife to be able to study Torah all the time. The second answer is that he wasn't married, but he heard from his teacher. The third answer is that holy people, as Ben Azai, they know the secrets of the Torah and of truth and life from heaven. Then the Talmud gets into talking about various things connected to adultery. And it says that someone who has an adulterous relationship with a married woman will eventually beg for food and looks for bread. Once it talks about bread, it tells us about washing the hands. That it says that someone who doesn't wash their hands before we eat bread, we're supposed to wash their hands 2 or 3 times on each side. So someone who doesn't wash their hands will have a shorter life. Here, Barashi says that when you wash your hands for bread, you should hold your hands up. Don't leave the hands down. You should hold it up until you finish the blessing and then dry it. Because if you leave it facing down, the first set of water that may have gone past your wrist may come back into your hand and make it tamei, impure again, and the whole washing is worthless. So you have to leave it up. But then when we wash our fingers at the end of the meal, mayim achronim, the water at the end of the meal, before we do the grace after meals, there you're supposed to let your fingers downwards so the water drips away from you. Because one of the reasons we wash our hands is because there was a chemical in the foods. It's called melach stomis, certain type of salt and chemicals in the food that if you touch your face and your eyes with it, it can blind you. So you wash your hands when you finish eating so you don't have it anymore. So you want it to drip away from your hands, not back onto your hands. Then the Gemara goes into talking about haughtiness, because in the verses that we're bringing down, it talks about haughtiness, and it tells us something interesting, that someone who has haughtiness, has a false ego, who holds himself above everyone else, this is an antidote, this is going to bring you to adultery. And it says like this: whoever has an adulterous relationship, even if they are a great scholar, it will not protect you from purgatory and from all the punishment that comes along with it. There's nothing that will be able to protect you from the act of an adulterous relationship, not a long term, even a one time relationship. And we're told that it's also similar to idol worship. According to another rabbi, it says that even if it's as if you're denying God Himself, as if you committed all the immoral sins that the Torah says when you're with adulterous relationship, as if you have built an altar that's prohibited, an altar outside of the temple that's prohibited. And Rav says that even if you were like Abraham, where you brought so much knowledge to the entire world about God, you did so much for God, but if you're in an adulterous relationship even once, it does not save you from purgatory. Even more so, we're told, even if you receive the Torah, if you were like Moses and you would receive the Torah from God, it still won't save you. If you have an adulterous relationship, meaning no one is ever above the law, and to act immoral, and we know adulterous relationships is one of the things that you have to rather die than be part of. Most sins in the Torah, even if you're forced, you transgress. If you have no choice between life and the sin. But the three sins, that these are sins that you rather die than to transgress, even if you're forced to do it. And one of them is adultery. The other one is idol worship and murder. And it says, even if you do charity anonymously, it also will not save you from purgatory. So we understand how severe these types of relationships are and why all the laws of Sotah were made to be able to ensure that these things don't happen and to clarify, if God forbid it did happen, that the marriage cannot continue and the right punishment comes to the right people. This is the page of the day. Thank you.